Hey guys, happy Sunday. Popping on in here for our collective week ahead card pulls. This is another big week. We are moving into a full moon in Scorpio happening on Tuesday. So we are continuing to go deep, pulling back the layers and seeing what's coming forward for our collective growth, healing, learning, expansion as souls here, as fools on our journey, as we've been talking about throughout April. If you're watching this on my Empowerment Sharecast on the Marco Polo app, you know what we do. We're going to tap in here now and pull some cards for us collectively for the week ahead, and then break out separately to look at each day of the week, what the messages are coming forward for us collectively, as well as some astrological updates, the energetic weather we can expect this week, and we're definitely going to get some oracle card guidance as well. If you're seeing this on one of my social media spaces, I'm Marissa from Growing the Flow, and this is a sampling of what we do over on the Empowerment Sharecast each week. And throughout the week, I pop in with different tarot, oracle card musings, and other spiritual tools and guidance so that we can step empowered into and through each day as we go and grow. So thank you for being here. Over on the free Empowerment Sharecast, you can request a personal card pull just for you for the week ahead as well. So I will be reminding us as we go through these messages about that. If you want, you can just simply quick reply at the end of any of these little messages or reach out to me in any way that works for you. Whew, it was a big week last week. It was busy energetically. I was on a lot. I shared a lot. We brought through a lot. It's been heavy. It's been hectic and all the things. How are you feeling as we come in here to ramp up to a full moon that certainly is all about being in the fields with the Scorpio energy? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I have the Moonology cards out here giving us that guidance to breathe through the tension. It's time to release negativity. So we're really feeling into what is being released, shed, forgiven, so that we can step into the new. So we'll touch on that a little bit as we go through these week ahead messages. Of course, the best way for you to get deeper guidance is to join me for the Empowerment Pack's full moon Scorpio reading that I will be diving into here at the top of the week. I have a special going on. Details about that are here in the Sharecast. I will also put them in any caption or on the bio, wherever you are seeing this. You can always reach out to me for details, but it's an amazing way for you to get empowered as you move through this lunation. I have a special spread that I've chosen and so many breadcrumbs coming in. I can't wait to share them with everyone who's coming along, and I would love to have you there as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to bring in the Violet Dragon energy. This is something I shared this week, the Master Clearance and Danger Defense Spray, but really feeling this energy on a number of levels. We'll talk a little bit when I get into the energetic weather report. Some of the things we're moving through right now, in addition to the full moon, of course, as I'm recording this on Sunday, tomorrow, April 22nd, is Earth Day. So we have a beautiful energy coming in for honoring Mother Earth and for having awareness about how we can help to make this a better place in so many ways. So we'll dip into that. I'm thinking I might do a little elemental, pick a card or something in honor of Earth Day. So you want to be over on the Sharecast to check that out. Let's kick things off. I am going to pull our Queen of the Moon Oracle card first. This is an amazing deck from Stacey DeMarco that I like to use for every lunation to kind of tap into an overarching energy or an area of focus for our collective messages. This will also be the card that we will build on for the full moon in Scorpio reading I'll be doing for the Empowerment Pack. So as I tune in here to pull our first card, this is about getting some guidance and overall energy around this Scorpio full moon, what we most need to know and best guidance as we move through. So let's see what's coming forward. Card here to kick us off from the Queen of the Moon. Of course, we've tapped into these energies from my Stars and Cards collaboration with my soul sis Mila. So that's already playing on my YouTube channel the amazing messages that we tapped into and brought through ahead of yesterday's Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus and this full moon in Scorpio. So we have already pulled one of these cards. I know which one it was. If you saw it, you do too. So let's see what is coming in to bolster that message and energy here as we tap in with this collective group that we have. And of course, this is coming to you in divine timing whenever and wherever you see this. These messages are meant for you. So let's see what we have coming up. Feeling that. 22, tomorrow's date, 22, definitely feeling that 2 energy. I was even going to say something to you guys about that, so that's amazing. The wisdom card, beautiful. Okay, so we're going to tap into that when we break into our messages. We'll finish off with an oracle card pull from the Oracle of Awakening. We have really been enjoying that deck as well to accompany our featured tarot deck this month, which is the Spring Weight Tarot from Tarot Collectibles. So let's tap in here with our Monday through Friday spread to see what's coming forward for us collectively. Of course, time is not linear, so while we put an intention with each day of the week, these cards that come forward are interacting and working throughout the week. So you may experience these energies in any number of ways. And of course, as always, with this being a collective reading, you're always invited to take what resonates and leave the rest. There's always someone there to pick it up. It's so cool to hear how these messages end up playing out for each of us so uniquely throughout the week. And I love hearing from you all about the ways that it's coming through for you and all the spiritual breadcrumbs and synchronicities. Again, the best way to get more customized personal guidance is to have a personal reading. Or again, if you'd like a free personal 1-card pull around these cards, feel free to reach out and that will be done on Marco Polo. So let's see what's coming in. Oh, look who's winking at us. The star of the month, the Fool. Remember, this deck has 2 Fools in here. So we've had our star here and we are just getting another nod there again, over and over. New beginnings, stepping out, being open. Beautiful. I love it. So let's see what's coming up here for Monday. Monday's energy setting us off for the week ahead. Perfect. 3 of Wands. So this has definitely been a repeat energy that's been coming up. I've been playing with different decks, so you may or may not recognize that, but this is absolutely an energy that we've been seeing and experiencing and coming in. So that's no exception here, starting out, looking out. This was the one where I talked about those ships coming in, ships sailing. This was the weekend card pull that I did with the Psychic Tarot deck that brought through that similar, it was the same card, different look from that deck, but so powerful. So love to see that being underscored here. Tuesday is the card that represents the potential blocks or challenges this week. So let's see what's coming forward there. Potential blocks or challenges this week. What might we expect? Oh, look who's back. So if you caught our cards for last week, the 7 of Cups was our Monday card. Now, moving down a spot. So all those choices, right? All of those illusory things that are sort of coming up into view, but not quite clear, and things not being exactly what they seem, and all of those energies can certainly serve to be a block or a challenge, because we may be afraid of making a choice when we don't know what all it entails and those contents. So very interesting that we see that card moving on down. And actually, I'm going to have to remind myself, because I know we got 3 7s in that weekend card pull. Was the 7 of Cups one of them? Wow, that's really interesting. So I'll take a look at that before we dive in. You might already be talking to me through the camera. Thank you to those of you that have been tuning in. Like I said, I know there was like a bunch of chariot chats that I popped in from my car, sharing my personal experiences with collective messages. And then, of course, we broke into that weekend card pull. Those are all on my YouTube channel as well under my chariot chats playlist. So let's see, Wednesday midweek blessing. Wednesday's midweek blessing. 4 of Cups. So through the boredom, through the apathy, through the disenchantment comes something of value, something beautiful that's being offered to us just outside our peripheral vision that we might be missing. So we're going to work to uncover, what is this cup of all these cups that we have to choose from? What's coming in here as a blessing? Thursday, how are we growing? How are we growing? Let's see what's coming in here for us Thursday for how we're growing. Oh, she's back, the Nine of Pentacles. Oh my gosh, you guys. I mean, if you have been checking out the messages week after week, she stuck around with us for 2 weeks. Last week, the magenta energy was just coming in so strongly. I still have it out here on the altar, the magenta bridge. I mean, I actually feel like it's really a center point of what we're moving through right now. And of course, I talked about the visualization I was given during my yoga class on Friday, crossing over that magenta bridge, time and self-mastery. So this is amazing. I'm going to spray that out again because we are growing into and through as we go over the bridge. Lean on me energy coming in here with all the abundance and everything that this card holds. It's like each week coming up with something else to say about these repeat energies because they keep coming back, right? Coming around again. If you know, you know. We just can't make this up, can we? Friday, wrapping up the week. Let's see what's coming in here for Friday. To wrap up our week, Friday. Oh, guys, come on now. 6 of Cups, 2 weeks in a row. Last week, we had a beautiful card here from the Oracle of Awakening, bringing through all the 6 of Cups feels. Nostalgia, childhood, our pasts, our wounding, becoming portals of strength. So much. All these cups. This is definitely underscoring for us the emotions that we are moving through right now as well. So this is definitely very connected to this Scorpio full moon for sure. Also wanted to mention my awesome altar mat here from Magic in Your Living Room, Wendy. I had to pull this one out. Pink moon, that is the lunation that we are moving through here as the wheel turns and we move through all of the cycles. The pink moon is this Scorpio full moon. So I wanted to bring that out also with a nod to nature speaking. We've had a lot coming in through the herbs and plants and flowers as well. So everything here is intentional. Everything here is carrying very powerful energies to, as we're saying, take the highest available frequency and timeline at this very powerful time. Let's cap it all off here. I want to keep this Instagram friendly so I can share the card pull. So I'm going to wrap it up here under 15 minutes. So we want to pull a card from this spectacular Oracle of Awakening by Lalania Simone. Let's get our Oracle card that's coming through here to punctuate this week with a message for our collective. One card here from the Oracle of Awakening. Feeling that. Wow, gorgeous. Meditation, contemplation, peace, and communication. Beautiful. I can't wait to dive into these. We're going to start with our energetic weather report over on the Sharecast. So stay tuned. Take this in as you like. Thank you all so much for being here. Please let me know if you would like a personal card pull. And if you're interested in the full moon special, we'll be diving into that tomorrow. So I would love to know because I put the intention out for everyone who may receive those messages, but I like to speak each of the names as I tune in uniquely to your energy to pull in our collective spread that we'll be doing for that special reading, and then your personal card pulls will follow. Okay, guys, join me over on the Sharecast. Thank you so much for being here. Talk to you soon. All right, so we're kicking things off with a dip into the energetic weather report for this week. This is not an exhaustive list. There's been so much going on. I'm just going to highlight a few things. Of course, here and now, as I'm recording this on Sunday, the 21st, we are in this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. I've talked pretty detailed about this in some of the prior polos you'll see here. You can follow through the prompts too if you want to check out and dive in deeper there. Again, I will be touching on this in the full moon reading that's coming up, that's available for all who want to come along for this week. But again, as we're moving through this energy, it is very present here. this conjunction that has just happened under Taurus. And of course, it is playing out very much like how we talked about some of the areas that are very likely to be amplified and expanded upon in our lives, both in our microcosms and macrocosms. So with that, we have another transit happening here today, April 21st, Sun square Pluto. So the Sun is in Taurus. It's squaring Pluto in Aquarius. So that's going to bring some potentially heavy energies our way as we are here now. So if you are feeling that, this can be like feeling pressured or a rising sense of difficulty in some particular area of your life. Now, Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, bringing out for us and bringing up to the surface. There's so many things going on. It's the home planet for Scorpio. Of course, we're getting ready to dive into this Scorpio full moon. So it's like really dredging up, right? So we're feeling that to make us hyper aware, perhaps, of areas that must shift, must transform. So as this pressure is building, we will find that transformation and change is the only way forward, right? We must change. We've talked about this over the many weeks about reaching this point of no return when it comes to leveling up where to from here. And this is where I'm feeling this 2.0 energy. And again, I've had so many spiritual breadcrumbs today about that. Even the music I was playing in the background. I'm actually going to share one of the songs here. So beautiful from Lee Harris Music. Just dropped like a new playlist, high vibrational music that is a 2.0. So it's sort of like a level up to many of their different high vibrational songs and collaborations. So I'm going to put a link there if you want to tune in from a musical standpoint. And as I say that, Archangel Sandalphon is nodding because Archangel Sandalphon is affiliated with angel number 22, which of course I mentioned is the number of our Queen of the Moon Oracle card, and Archangel Sandalphon governs music. So I always get songs and musical references whenever I tune into that energy. So I'm definitely feeling that. It is also about the Earth Star chakra. I'm spraying that bronze energy right now to infuse our messages here with this energy from Archangel Sandalphon, the bronze Earth Star chakra, connecting in with Earth, right? Which brings us to tomorrow's energy as I'm recording this, Monday, April 22nd, Earth Day. So being reminded about getting grounded, connecting with the Earth, celebrating the Earth, giving gratitude to the Earth. So we have that moving through, and now I'm going to pull up a graphic to talk a little bit about Tuesday's Scorpio full moon, April 23rd, as we roll through the week. So as I gear up for the Scorpio full moon reading that I've invited you all to join me with for the Empowerment Pack, where we are going to go deeper, I'm going to give you a little appetizer here, leaning into this beautiful graphic and guidance from Moon and Cactus. We featured her beautiful tarot deck the other month as well. I just love all of her work. And so this is no exception here, this beautiful graphic and, the information that's coming to us on how we can best align with this full moon in Scorpio. Yes, we are still in eclipse season. Mercury is still retrograde. Now we have a Scorpio full moon plus Pluto, which is Scorpio's ruler, going retrograde on May 2nd. So emotions are at an all-time high. No wonder we have all these cups on the altar this week in our collective cards. So we're definitely getting a massive dose of powerful transformative energy coming our way here with this lunation and all of these other aspects that are supporting that. So as we're being ushered into this time of death, rebirth, and expansion, it's really forcing this awareness upon us. It's like you can't look away. This is a message that's been coming in. At the end of last week, I said, look up. I was feeling this energy of look up, and I'm telling you, so many things are happening, just even phenomena, things happening in the sky, weather events, crazy clouds, different things happening that are causing us, literally, nature speaks, to look up. You can't look away, right? It's strange, it's transformative, it's all the things. So this is definitely supporting that energy here, that we really need to dig deep beneath the surface to let go of what we already know, right? There's things that we are well aware have needed our time, attention, and focus to be released in order to move forward. So here we have this energy of really clearing out, cleaning out. I've talked about this with the death card last week, which was our potential blocker challenge. Picked clean to the bone, shedding the skins of our soul, pulling back layer by layer. This is what Scorpio, Pluto, all of this energy is supporting. So Scorpio moon and a Taurus sun is providing us with this opportunity to create more balance between what we think we want, the Taurus energy, and what we need, Scorpio. So utilizing this influence by making necessary changes in your life or relationships, by expressing compassionate truths, is the best way that you can connect in with this energy. And this is something I'm really seeing is like speaking truth to power, truths coming to light, to the surface, truths being spoken. And in many cases, they're being spoken in very passionate ways, fiery ways. There's this notion of holy anger, of people who are rising up and speaking out, speaking truth. And so this is happening in communities. It's happening in, certainly I had so many people I talked to this weekend were like, I'm so like angry, frustrated. I feel like this feeling in me, it's churning up these very passionate and fiery energies that are serving. They're coming from that lower vibrational level in order to be moved, to be transmuted. And so if you're tapping into that, if that sounds familiar to you, there's guidance here about really releasing some of the tension by breathing through it, again, getting grounded, and releasing negativity. So I love this way of saying, expressing compassionate truths. We can speak to the truth with love and compassion. So now the sun's energy wants us to be happy, to find pleasure in our everyday, right? Joy. However, the moon's energy wants us to go beyond that surface and find truth among the complexities of our soul, which of course our soul, our bodies, as I've been talking about, representing the earth, so macro, micro energies everywhere we look. So this is really about finding the balance between those two energies, the sun and the moon. Right? This is a continuation of all these energies as we move through eclipse season. The hidden message behind this full moon is not to be afraid to get to the bottom of an issue. Let's own our power and rid ourselves of restrictions, limitations, and old out-of-date beliefs. This is a very freeing and healing time. And the guidance says, be ready to let go, be ready to be reborn, get excited for what's to come. And the words that are coming through to me as I'm preparing to dive into that Scorpio full moon reading are rise up. Rise up, right? So really following through this energy, connecting in with it and flowing with it is the ideal way. There's many paths and many different ways we can experience this. And of course, with such potent, fiery energies and all of the things that it entails for us to go deep. It's easy to take that in any number of directions, but this is our best guidance. And we're going to dive more deeply into that with the spread that I've chosen for the Scorpio full moon reading. So if you want to join me for that, I'm going to drop that right here on the other side of this, just so I keep it all together. It's $22, guys. If you want to come with me, you're going to receive a full pre-recorded video that I'll be doing this week that will have that 5-card spread with all the oracle card guidance, going deeper on the astrological aspects. And then part 2 is where I connect with you to pull cards just for you personally in this full moon. So if you want to join me for that, I'm going to put that here following this graphic, and then we're going to get ready to dive into our Queen of the Moon guidance and into our week ahead messages. So our Queen of the Moon oracle card that's come forward to support us in this Scorpio full moon, the pink moon, is this card of wisdom, number 22. So it's bringing in this mantra: I use my knowledge and experience to make wise decisions. So as I look here at the Queen of the Moon's message, I know that it talks about discerning between true wisdom and knowledge. Things we know, things we learn, things we pick up along the way versus something that has truly been really integrated into our being, wisdom that we hold. And in many cases, that is coming from within. And so I feel like another side of this, what's being unearthed, the layers we're peeling back. And this is a preview to May and some of the energies that I've been getting already for the empowerment pack for May. There is a remembering. There is a remembering of wisdom, in some cases, ancient wisdom that we already have within us. There's this message here of not our first rodeo here as a collective, as humanity, as we talk about 2.0 and leveling up. We are definitely seeing the energy of the nautilus shell, ammonite, fossil coming around again. This message that I've been getting repeatedly, cycling back through familiar energy. Things that we've experienced before, things going on in the sky that haven't happened in decades, that we are now re-experiencing conditions like we did before, with opportunities to apply our wisdom in order to make new choices under those old circumstances. So let's tap into this Queen of the Moon message here. Again, this is the card that will also be a part of building upon for the full moon reading for Empowerment Pack for Scorpio. Okay, so wisdom is more than just mere knowledge. There are things here coming up that perhaps we're not seeing and may need to research more thoroughly. Interesting, because we have that 4 of Cups as our midweek blessing this week. What are we not seeing? Wisdom is gathered, but it takes time. So learn from your experience. And you might wish to ask the opinion of a wise mentor if you're uncertain. It's often said that the body has its own innate wisdom. If your body is healthy, it just knows what to do and does what it needs to keep us alive and moving without thinking too much about it. Most of the time, we aren't aware of trying to keep our heart beating or of our breathing when we're asleep. Right? Similarly, we have this innate reasoning system, intuition, that allows us to get answers or receive information without conscious thinking. It's that feeling or hunch of information or insight that is just there. Some people believe this is the wisdom that we receive from the gods, the very spark of the divine voice that is left within us. This is a very old kind of wisdom that sits in a very old part of the brain. Then there is this gathering of knowledge and experience and what we discern and learn from here with this. So if the result has acuity, if it is successful in the real world and good in sense and perception, it's most probably wise. The getting of wisdom takes time usually, and we can be impatient for it. We might cut corners and not see the role we take in our own poor decision making. And this is coming again from the Queen of the Moon Oracle, where she says, for me, though, as modern people, we have millennia of wisdom to assist us. Human history. This is really important because these are building on messages that came up in stars and cards. In fact, the last card we pulled, where I actually got a little emotional. Some of you watched that and told me you got emotional too. It was magical. How perfect that last card was that we pulled on that stars and cards, which, by the way, guys, was episode 20, right? 2.0. Really was bringing us into some deep topics and referenced, energies from 5,000 years ago. Also, the cards I did for the weekend here with the Unplugged from Mass Consciousness, talking about, really releasing that connection into this false level of information and really tapping more deeply into this innate knowing. I'm setting that up in case you haven't caught up on all of them so that you can see just how aligned this next part is. And as I say to you, that all of these astrological aspects that we're in right now are bringing us back to periods of time where certain things took place in our world that, again, we're at a 2.0 opportunity. So it says here, we have a millennia of wisdom to assist us. Human history has some very wise people starring in it and some not so wise. So we have plenty of examples from which to learn. Gathering wiser people around us is in fact one of the wisest things anyone can do. We cannot always know it all, and a wise mentor or friend can not only save us from poor decisions, but also demonstrate how to be wise if we aren't quite there yet. So, that is all to say for me, what I'm feeling, just sort of dipping in here for this energy for this full moon. There's absolute focus on discernment and tapping into our innate wisdom, ancient wisdom, learning from, coming around again, looking at the past, history as just one version of potential timelines that brought us to this point, that we're now at this pivotal space of determining where to from here as we rebuild, right? As we rebirth. Again, more continuation of these themes that were coming up all throughout this month at minimum, but I feel like I've been talking about this for a millennia. No. So that is really setting the stage. Like I said, we'll dive deeper into this card in the full moon reading and get into the spread and more messages there. But let's keep it moving into this week. We're going to start diving in now with our Monday through Friday cards. Let's take a look. All right, kicking off our tarot messages, we have this Three of Wands. And yes, indeed, this is one of the cards, one of the energies that came forward for our weekend when I did those card pulls from the Psychic Tarot. So I want to bring that in now so you can see the comparison. Yes, this was that card of partnerships and alliances where I talked about the lean on me energy, putting a hand out, helping out, picking each other up, and this notion of these two different flags and the potential for this meaningful collaboration, connection, co-creation for what is next. So that's what the Three of Wands is about. As we set off on this new week, we're talking about looking out and seeing, in this case, there's a ship, right? Is that ship coming in? Is it sailing out? I like to talk about the Three of Wands being about ships that have sailed, things that we are allowing to go, release, and then waiting for our ship to come in, having that trust and faith in, what is meant for me will not pass me by, but also having a hand in connecting in with the role we play in co-facilitating that, right? There's this collaborative energy that comes in. 3 is a number of creation and co-creation and collaboration. And I always like to break that down and say co-labor. It's work, right? We are laboring to create. So this energy comes in to support us this week. Now, in the spring wait, it talks about this man who's looking out to sea, seeing this ship. And, sometimes they might refer to this guy as a merchant. And maybe he's awaiting the goods that he's previously purchased to make their way to shore. It's a card of waiting. So it likens it to anyone in business who's purchased products that can take weeks, even months to finally arrive, knowing this feeling all too well. I mean, this could apply to any of us that are waiting on something to be delivered, right? We can feel a little impatient as we wait for that cargo to arrive. But when it does, it will be a welcome sight. So there's this energy again. Last week, we talked about perseverance, patience, right? This moment to pause and reflect. And I like to say that this is from this higher vantage point. So we're looking out into the big picture, onto the horizon. We're seeing what has come, what is yet to come. And there's this energy of looking over the body of water, like the tides, the waves, rising, falling, what's washing in, what's pulling out. So again, very reflective and very definitely, like, even though this is wands, which again is fire, I'm still feeling this feel into the feels, into the emotions, because there's a lot of water here as well. So again, If you are feeling triggered, if you are feeling some of those like undercurrent of like the tensions, right? Because we're talking about the full moon in Scorpio giving us this best guidance to breathe through the tension, right? Of what's coming to the surface, what's being revealed, the layers are being stripped back and pulled back, what's come forward. Again, water, right? We see this energy of the feels and the emotions and how they can sting, and there can be this tension. So if you are feeling some of that, again, I want to remind you about those other fools, the other players, right? Because this 3 is bringing us into, it's not just me, right? There's this collaboration happening, is remembering that as the fool on your journey through this lifetime, you're encountering all the other fools having their journeys. And together we help to facilitate, to co-create those experiences. And those experiences are meant to be holistic and running the full gamut of all of it, having the full experience of all of the energies, which is as above, so below, which is including the deep, the lower vibrational energies to the highest expression. So what I'm feeling there is I'm feeling about the energies of those others, that if you are feeling very triggered, if you're feeling angry, like you want to pop off, or there's this tension, again, invited to step up and back and look from that wider perspective to see how are these other fools, these other players, supporting me on my journey? What is this experience coming in to show me? What is this reflecting back to me? How is this helping to shine a light on something within me that is unhealed, something within me that is ready to be released, transmuted? Yes, I'm getting a nod here to bring in Archangel Zadkiel for forgiveness and transmutation. Love to have this energy around a full moon. So we're feeling this energy of release, forgiveness, and transmutation. So again, we have the consistency of this same energy coming through for this weekend and now for this week ahead. It's setting us forward into motion for flowing into these feels and energies. And we are best served when we're doing it from this a co-creation, collaboration perspective of we are all in this, we're all experiencing these things. And even though you may trigger the hell out of me, right, with that scorpionic energy, thank you. I took you right to the hard part. Thank you. I'm going to have gratitude for that on the other side in some time and space. I can see how it has served, how it serves me, right? So that's kind of setting the tone here for this week and any of those unique challenges that you may encounter. So let's go ahead and roll into, on that note, the potential blocks or challenges for this week with Tuesday. All right, Tuesday, our potential block or challenge is a repeat card. This energy was here last week for us collectively as Monday, setting the tone for the week ahead, giving us this energy of the 7 of Cups, which is bringing in fantasies, choices, wishful thinking, all of these things that we have to choose from, and yet it's illusory, it's nebulous. We're not exactly sure what all is in those cups. I've given this analogy. It's been a while though. I'm sure many of you have heard it, but I know we have some new people here. So this is my it's an analogy, but it's like a silly story from my childhood. So in the name of that 6 of Cups hanging out. When I was a kid, we had this nature center. It actually was right next door to my house that I lived in till I was 3, and then continued to visit throughout my childhood, where they had these boxes inside. They had sort of like this, area that you could go through, and there was all kinds of informational things and displays and such. And there were these boxes that had a hole that you could stick your hand in, right? But you couldn't see what was inside. And inside these boxes, you never knew what was in there. Sometimes it was a pine cone, a snake skin, a turtle shell. So there was sort of this ooh, I'm going to put my hand in there and I don't know what's in there. And I'm going to feel into what it is and guess what it is. I'm going to be creeped out maybe, or it's going to feel sharp, or it could feel real soft like a pelt of fur. And so it always reminds me then of the 7 of Cups, as tarot imitates life. of this notion of what all is in these cups. And like I said last week, this one's kind of pleasant. You know, we see all these spring themed items in these cups, none of them looking very intimidating. And yet in the traditional tarot, some of these cups may show, snakes and dragon energy and things that are sort of, looking very ominous and deep, or we're not really sure what all is in there. So the idea that I have to make this choice is difficult, right? Or maybe I have some hesitancy there. Now, I shared some of this last week. So again, you can always scroll back and you can take a look at last week's Monday energy, where I already talked about this card in the context of how it was presenting itself intuitively to me last week for our energy. But here we're talking about dreams, desires, what we're wishing for, what we want to bring forward in our lives. And of course, I mentioned yesterday being the luckiest day of the year, really about focusing on that highest available. And I love this rainbow energy that's ribbon that's coming all through here to bring in the full spectrum of experiences, because we're reminded that sometimes in order to get to that, all the wishes and hopes and dreams and bunnies and chickies and all the beautiful things that are in these cups, we do have to move through, that snake energy, that dragon energy of shedding those skins, of feeling the tightness, of burning through, transmuting those things, creating boundaries and protection. Again, I'm feeling nods from the different color and healing energies that are coming in here to support us here this week and through this full moon. That another way I heard this card described last week, where not surprisingly, others that I tune into, we're all tapping into these same energies, these same cards are coming up. There was this mention of it not opening up a can of worms, like opening up, reaching into one of these cups and choosing that path could open up a can of worms. And that's what I'm feeling here for this week, is that when we talk about speaking truth to power, of tapping into our innate wisdom, of calling out those things that may be flying a false flag, to bring back this one, knowing that it's messy, it's uncomfortable, there's tension, and so many other things that opening up that can of worms, we could be hesitant to do so. So that's tricky. It can be challenging if we have to say the thing, call out the thing, speak truth to the thing, right? Whatever it is. And again, how's this showing up in your life? How are we seeing it show up in our communities, in our countries, in the world? It's messy. I don't know what's in there. I'm not sure I want to stick my hand in there and go there, And so I feel like that's actually a pretty powerful message that's coming in. And again, I'm noticing a pattern. We tap in, we set our intentions collectively. The same cards are coming up week after week, underscoring, getting our attention, right? What is this coming up to tell me? And this is a card that also speaks to the allure of temptation on the path. It is tempting to take the easy way out, the polite way out, the quiet way out, the comfortable way out. That's tempting, right? So it does highlight that as well. And this notion that we may have to move forward and make a choice, take a stand without knowing the full picture. And so, feeling into what that might mean for you and how that might show up for you, we have this opportunity to really tap into what we want. And really, I'll bring in again, envisioning. This is where I think these two work together. Envisioning what we want that to look like, as if we are already there. This is bringing back the magenta bridge messages, seeing the other side of the bridge and looking back over this full gamut of all the experiences, all the choices, and recognizing that wherever you find yourself along that place, all of these choices we've made, collectively, individually, they have consequences, cause and effect. So the choices we have made bring us to this moment. Choices we make into the future inform that outcome. So, again, it's really about, I feel, these two working together to detach and step back and take some of that pressure off of you about making these decisions, and trusting that you have this innate wisdom within you, using your discernment, using your intuition, calling out things that don't pass the smell test. Let's put it that way. So again, just sort of setting us into that energy for potential blocks or challenges. Let's take a look at this midweek blessing for Wednesday and see what's coming in there. All right, Wednesday is our midweek blessing. And this 4 of Cups, and you know, 4 has been a number that's really been coming up about this process of restabilization and reinforcing the foundations that we are building upon. And so here we have one of the 4s, this time in the suit of cups, which again is emotions, brings us into the heart chakra, into our feels. It's the water element. And you can kind of guess how this subject might be feeling because they look sort of not so impressed, right? Kind of perturbed. And their energy is definitely very closed off to what meets the eye here, what they see as what's available to them. They're not looking very, very impressed. And so it is traditionally a card that's about being bored or apathetic or, you know, not really appreciating what is in front of us as, you know, what we have to work with. And so it shows us this 4th cup that's being offered rather like as if spirit or there's some energy of an offering coming in here that we're missing as a result of being in that lower vibrational place of boredom and apathy and not appreciating necessarily what we have in front of us. So, you know, just in general, this can be an opportunity if you are feeling very frustrated with, you know, things that are on your plate or what is in front of you, that there is this opportunity for you to look around. Again, I bring in this look up and out, right? Because if I raise myself up out of that lower vibrational perspective, what might I find already right here in front of me with these cups, but also resources hidden, quote unquote, resources that are actually hiding in plain sight. Very connected to this 7 of Cups. In fact, when I looked at this, I thought, okay, well, what's in the green cup? Well, actually, there's 2 in the same green that we see here. Right? We see a green cup here, which has Easter eggs in them. And earlier this month, we talked about the symbolism of the egg as a sign of rebirth, of hope, of renewal. I shared that magic eggs little ritual that you can do. And actually, I don't think I shared this story with everybody, but something funny that happened for me is I actually did it. You know, I have to admit, a lot of times when I share things and guidance comes through, I hardly ever make time for myself to do these things. And it's something I've been sort of calling myself out about to say like, well, walk the talk and do the thing and follow through the guidance. Because I hear from so many of you when you try these things and just the beautiful experiences that you have and awarenesses that come in and just how it really does help. And that's wonderful. So I decided to do that magic eggs ritual. And I had this little moment in my front garden and I was very intentional and I decorated the egg and I did all these things. I had this music playing, but also like my neighbors were out front. It was kind of like weird because I was feeling like, I feel so exposed out here in the front. And again, I could go on about the symbolism there for me, about being seen, about just unapologetically like, yes, that's right. I am digging a hole in my front garden, cracking open an egg and burying it. Hey, neighbor. I did those things. I buried the egg. But then I came back later that day and I could see very clearly that it had been dug up and that there were pieces of broken eggshell all around. I think Cooper was the culprit because he was very involved with me walking around that spot and looking very, very curious. I don't know that it was another critter. It could have been. But I thought, oh, wow. So I did this ritual. I buried the egg, all of my wishes and intentions and all the things that I wanted to bring through and that eclipse energy and everything. And it got dug up and eaten. Does it still count? Does it matter? All the things. Where am I going? In the head with that, right? And so it's just kind of funny because I shared this with one of you and I love what you said to me because you said, well, maybe you have to dig deeper. And I found that to be so profound because it is representative of what we're being invited to do. Scorpio is absolutely telling us to go deeper, absolutely seeing what is being unearthed and coming up and what does that represent for me. So being disenchanted with a certain circumstance or turn of events that's in front of us, perhaps there's an opportunity to go deeper, right? So I just went on a little tangent about the eggs as one. But on the other side is the butterfly representing transformation, this metamorphosis process. I talked about that in the previous weeks about, that whole process of the caterpillar going into the cocoon, turning to mush in the dark, not knowing that it will emerge as the beautiful butterfly, right? So in this moment, I may not even recognize I've got wings, right? I'm already so far into this process and I don't even recognize how far I've come. You always see that there's like something out there that says, the person that I am today, who I used to be, like how I prayed for this, how I wished for all that I have today. Sort of like this awareness of all of the things that I have in front of me, these cups, I actually previously never thought were possible. And now here I am, living that dream. Was that dream all it was cracked up to be? Was it all rainbows and butterflies? No. And so when I'm in a moment where I'm seeing the underbelly of it, the dark side, the shadow aspects of a dream, of a wish that has come, that I manifested, right? It brings us back into, I manifested this reality that's in front of me. I may have co-created it with others, of course, because that's what we're doing here. But I have a role. And so there's a lot of opportunity here in this midweek blessing to recognize the blessings that are right in front of us in hidden ways and also in newly seeing them through fresh eyes, afresh, seeing them again. So yeah, I feel like a couple of tangents came through there, but it feels like, an opportunity for us to really see there is so much abundance. And it also brings us into there being a time for us to maybe meditate or time out and reflect, which is interesting because at the end, we're going to talk about that meditation card that came forward. So perhaps we're feeling a connection there with this time for reflection. So, just an opportunity for some introspection and creating more stability in our foundations in order to support the new. So if there's something in front of me that I'm not happy about, what do I need to do to shift or change it? In what way can I influence that forward moving momentum? And that even if I'm not yet where I wish to be, I'm in some stage of the metamorphosis process because we are always in a state of flux, in change and transformation. So where am I at? Really kind of getting clear on that and then recognizing what the blessings are, being in this moment, in this stage, being present with all that we have. So midweek blessing there. Let's move on to another one of our frequent flyers here for the Thursday card coming right up. Okay, Thursday, bringing in our card for how we are growing. And this beautiful 9 of Pentacles has been coming up all month. Now, I think last week we did not get this card, but we were brought back into the messages of this card because the previous 2 weeks she had appeared. 9 of Pentacles. Pentacles, earth energy, representing our resources, our material abundance, money, safety, security, our homes, our sense of really feeling connected to this earthly realm, all of our tangible goods, the things that we have. And as I've talked about her in the several weeks that she's been coming in, a very self-made individual, someone who has created this abundance in their life through a lot of hard work and dedication. I even mentioned from the sourest of grapes, making things of value and worth and finding those blessings and building on them. So again, this was giving us that nod to the foundation that we're building on and bringing in that notion of creating a stable foundation, one that is reinforced, restabilized, because in some cases, collectively, we're becoming aware of things that are no longer stable, that are no longer sustaining us, where there is an opportunity to rebuild and reinforce and repair and all the re's. So she comes in with her bird of prey that she's tamed, which, I felt as support that is here, that we are not on our own as we're moving through this time. And so how are we growing? I do feel this is actually feeling to me right now, because of all the emotions that are on this altar this week with all this water and the Scorpio full moon and the tensions rising and the negativity and some of those other things that are being highlighted. It's taming that. It feels like actually like regulating our emotions and having them work for us, smarter, not harder, right? So it's almost like this bird could represent that shadow side of all of us that we all have, that tendency to just have that tantrum, to have that explosive reaction, or to react in a lower vibrational way that we're now growing into the knowing is no longer serving. So, how that plays out in our daily lives, in our interactions with others, and how we move through conflicts and disputes and struggles, but then how we can bring that out into the collective about old paradigms and belief systems of things that we talked about through this weekend's energy, such as eye for an eye and that type of energy, not serving and only creating more of that lower vibrational, negative, toxic energy. Being able to tame that and to bring that in and make it work for us, because it's not to say that there's never going to be any of those lower vibrational energies. They do serve, they have a role. So making that work for us, using our resources, using what we have to rebuild, to restabilize, that's what I'm feeling there. So she's very powerful. And again, we can say that is also giving us a nod to that divine feminine energy. So 9 of Pentacles, a winged woman with this headpiece made of roses, walking through her garden with that bird perched on her hand. She's an independent person, right? She's made up all this abundance and wealth in her life. A wealth of what? Wisdom, right? Knowledge, tools, resources, right? What all is in there? What all do we have there in our arsenal to work with from a place of peace, from a place of empowerment, from a place of the highest potential of what we can build together collaboratively? You see, it's all weaving together in this beautiful way when we choose to view it from that perspective and build on that. So this week is really helping to continue to unearth, to bring up those sour grapes, to bring up those things that are not serving any longer, to be released, to be transmuted, to be forgiven. All of these words that we've been saying that are weaving together into how we navigate from here. And I didn't even mention, when we looked at this card, that she's standing on this boat, but she's actually above the clouds. So again, she is standing on the books of, what has passed, what we have moved through, and how we have used all of that to climb up to this place. And to me, it's like I've been having these moments of like, it seems so obvious to me, and this is something that is a struggle. Like the more that you align with this wisdom, the more anything that's under that feels very like, how can we not see? If these were books of history, right? If these are books of all that had come to pass, that if we were to look at each of those and knowing what we know, how could we possibly think that continuing to do the same thing we did all those other times that didn't work, that it's going to work this time? It seems really counterintuitive to me. So this idea that there's this coming around again of all of this knowledge, wisdom, but also these circumstances, these frequencies, these potentialities to go in one direction or another, that we have this opportunity to rise up, right? Rise up, look up, elevate, evolve. So I feel like there's so much going on. I know it's hard these days to keep it keep it light and simple. But it is yet. It is. It can be simple. And that's what we're getting reminded for about, the fourth week in a row. So let's go ahead now and wrap it up with Friday's energy. Okay, we are coming in here for Friday, and Archangel Sandalphon is stepping forward because I am given very overwhelmingly a very particular song right now that I just put on in the background, which I know I'm going to get dinged for everywhere but Marco Polo, but I don't care. It is The Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston. And I am being reminded about our children as our greatest teachers, and this invitation that we've been getting given week after week after week to simplify, to feel back into the past with nostalgia, with perhaps even feelings of love and familiarity and happy feelings, but also being aware of some of those wounds and things that have been coming up to the surface. Here and now, I'm feeling it as the children being our future, recognizing where we are in this moment of humanity. And as we're invited to level up, I feel like these big messages that are also the little messages in the everyday ways, in the small, simple ways, that the choices that we're making are influencing and creating the future in real time. And it's a reminder of the children. And this is something that came up again in all these messages about the future generations and what we're building now at this time. So as we look at, and we'll bring her back in too, because that's when I felt this inspiration, is this energy of the greatest love of all is what we are creating for the future. And so all of that other stuff under the bridge and all of the things that are coming up back from the past that we have in front of us to take a look at, and it can be downright disenchanting, right? And we can feel this feeling of like crossing our arms and blocking it out and closing it out, because what can I possibly do and how can I possibly help to contribute anything from where I am and with what I have to work with, right? All these choices that we have, it just starts here with one. It starts with one choice. And so again, I just feel like this is really helping to show us the way through simplifying one choice at a time. But again, doing so from a place of empowerment, with your discernment, with your wisdom that you have within you. This is something that does require you to unplug from the mass consciousness, from this old paradigm, this old story that we're leveling up from. So I really feel that this Six of Cups, which again, this can show up in your life so many ways, right? So, okay, that's big. People from your past coming around again. And I'm reminded that I wanted to tell you in the energetic weather report that actually also happening this week on Thursday, the 25th, Mercury direct. So Mercury being retrograde since April 1st, we've been in this energy of, going back over things, of having all of the things that come up to the travel delays and snafus and things that happen with technology and communication and all the different ways that we've been maybe disrupted through that process. But also, what has this retrograde cycle come up to serve me with? What has come forward from all of that? What has blossomed in these cups from this look back into where I came from to get to this moment? And so again, like I said, this has been showing up as people from our past, reconnecting with people from our past, or even encountering echoes of situations with others from our past, even if they're with new people in this time and space, bringing up for us again other fools on our journey, serving us with reflecting back to us unhealed things, or uncovering wisdom that we've been carrying with us, maybe unaware. So many different ways that this has been coming up. So we got to pause for this part. Pretty cool song. Sorry, guys. Geeking out for a moment. Archangel Sandalphon had to have the music in here. So I think that's so beautiful. I'm going to delve more deeply into that song I was given and really feel about that, like what I think is coming up. All right, we can't go there. I'm not allowed to bring all that in because I do put these on YouTube. But in this free space on Marco Polo, if you're here, I love being able to authentically share with you guys. So thank you for that too. It's definitely been a process kind of pulling me up out of my shell and out of these depths of perhaps playing small or safe, that I'm dipping my toe into. So I thank you so much for being here and for all your beautiful, positive, encouraging feedback. And, I hope that you're finding something in here to resonate for you. I trust that you are, because it really does feel very important that these messages are coming through and that we're able to connect with them in this way. So again, if that's speaking to you, if you would like a personal card pull this week, just let me know. You can quick reply here if you would like to do that, or reach out to me in any way that works for you. And I will be working on pulling those personal card pulls this week. Of course, diving into the comprehensive work, first and foremost, is the full moon in Scorpio. So if you want to come along, reminder, we have a special going on. You can join me for that deep dive into this full moon in Scorpio energies coming in on Tuesday, the 23rd. We're going to do a 5-card spread along with the oracle energies to support, and then break into a personal set of card pulls just for you in this full moon and your intentions and working with the potent availabilities that are coming up for us for real profound healing, shedding, releasing, and stepping into the new. So we've got one last card to bring in here before we wrap it up here for our week ahead messages. So let's go ahead and bring in our Oracle of Awakening message. All right, wrapping up our messages for this week ahead, we have this beautiful Oracle of Awakening card coming in as meditation for contemplation, peace, and communication. I love this color. This is a color that I had been given in a meditation. I did a guided meditation for the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, and there was this electric blue to visualize as a part of tapping into your biggest, grandest vision for yourself, for your family, for your future that you could possibly be imagining at this time to bring in and raising that vibration up. So I'm really feeling that connectedness here to that beautiful color that came in, connecting with that Jupiterian energy of expansiveness and luck and abundance for what's available to us now. And we're being brought into this energy of meditation. So the message here from the Oracle of Awakening says, I have access to infinity within myself. There is no one way to meditate. Meditation is not just about emptying the mind. It's a chance to reflect on what is happening in your mind. It is also about taking a few minutes to drop into your heart and body, to connect with your spirit and maybe even your guides and ancestors. It's a deepening of your understanding of who and what you are. Meditation may feel overwhelming to those who have tried it once or twice and have been frustrated by their seeming inability to be focused. Please don't give up. For those who have a hard time being still, I highly recommend doing guided meditations. There are a myriad of options for anything you may need. My favorite is the free Insight Timer app, but there are many on YouTube and other websites as well. This is a resource being given from Lalania Simone. This inner space is also where you explore your shadow. It is where you can find the places that need healing and love. Meditation is an excellent canvas for creating abundance mindset and for setting your deepest desires free to manifest into the field of possibility. Please be gentle and patient with yourself. You can't do it wrong. It is an ongoing learning process, and there is always more learning to do. Also, be alert. If you are prone to falling asleep, do it while sitting. When this card comes up, it is reminding you that you have access to all that you need within yourself. And there's a meditation idea that she shares. It says, set a timer for 3 to 5 minutes and then close your eyes and follow the path of your breath from your nostrils into the lungs and back out. Or scan your body, feet to head. Experience how it feels both inside the space of your body. Both inside the space of your body. Okay. I feel like I lost that at the end. Or scan your body, feet to head. Experience how it feels. I think it means to say inside and outside the space of your body, but I will say that is probably Mercury's grand finale, Mercury retrograde with the communication gaps. And I'm serious. Like, let me show you, for example, just so you don't think that, I mean, you can think I'm crazy if you want. I noticed a mistake here, right? I love this deck. It's gorgeous. It's amazing. So the card says meditation, but the book says meditate, right? Big deal. So it's just, I feel another nod to what I was saying about little misprints, little mistakes, misspeaking, getting caught up in words and things that limit our ability to express ourselves, no matter. I can see it there. And I talked about this because I got called out this week by somebody for using a word that wasn't exactly the right meaning of it, but it was me channeling spirit. It's the word I was given. And how, a version of me from the past would have really taken offense and really had a hard time with that actually it was a really cool experience because it allowed for a high vibrational exchange of perspectives to say, hey, yeah, you know what? Turns out you're right. That is in fact the Merriam-Webster meaning for that word in the dictionary, right? And I don't know, that's just the word I was given, right? And so I think it's funny that this all just ended with like a typo and this card, because it doesn't have to be perfect. I've confessed before, I do not have a meditation practice, and I've been guided for years to do so, to free myself of perfectionism and procrastination around meditation. So as I was reading that, I was already feeling guided to share with you guys something that is a gift that I did last year, a year ago here, because it is the anniversary of this month. April of 2023 was when I piloted using this Marco Polo Sharecast to connect in this way. And some of you were here with me as a part of that pilot and have been with me ever since. And my goodness, all of my love and gratitude. Thank you so much for being here. I just can't even thank you enough. And it's just so amazing to grow and flow with all of you and all the people that have come along since. So appreciate each of you. And so what I had done that month, for anybody who wanted to come along, that month we were working with a gorgeous deck called the Walking Meditation Tarot by Danielle. I'm going to grab her deck here because I have it right here. So you can see, because I'm like not even kidding you, it's so gorgeous. Do I have it in here? Let me see. Oh my goodness, I don't have it right here. I thought I did. Well, I'm going to be sharing with you the playlist that has absolutely the link, pictures of that deck. It's so gorgeous. It's her own nature photography from her own walking meditations. She put together this beautiful deck, a tarot deck, but it also comes with a booklet that is filled with her walking meditations. So I reimagined and recorded some of those as a gift. So I want to share that here too. It's a private playlist that I have on my YouTube channel. So I'm going to put that here because what I wanted to say was it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be by the book. Because you can make it whatever you want. And I know even some of you here, some new people that I've met along the way, also use walking meditation as a way of connecting in every day in their busy lives, of carving out time. So it can be done so many ways. I love to hear from you guys about your best practices and the way that you take this mindful time for yourself. But I'm going to share here the link to the walking meditation playlist that I created last year, so that you can check that out. You'll see the deck that I was just talking about that I can't find in this moment, but it is all divine. So I'll share that. Thank you guys so much for being here. Again, if you would like a personal card pull, please let me know. I will be in and out here with additional resources and shares as we continue to build up into and through this week. So I'm sending you all so much love, many blessings.